Hello dear children, so today I am here with you all to discuss the mind map for chapter 2, that is microorganisms, for class 8, right? So in this chapter, whatever we have studied, we will discuss all these one by one. So first of all, I am writing name of the chapter, that is microorganisms. We know that friend and foe. So first of all, we studied about the major groups. That what were the major groups in this chapter, or major groups of microorganisms. So what were they? First is bacteria, then we have fungi, then we have algae, then we have protozoa, then last but not least we have viruses. So these are the major 5 groups which we have studied. Now if we talk about, as we know, the name of the chapter is microorganisms, friend and foe. So there are a number of uses of microorganisms. So what are these? We can write here useful microorganisms. Right? Useful microorganisms. So why they are useful? We have discussed because they help in making food items. Right? In food items, who are helpful? We can discuss further. So in food items, first the major one is the lactobacillus. Where it help? It help in making of curd, that we call lactobacillus. Right? It helps in this. Next we have making bread, idlis. Making bread, idlis, that is yeast, which we have already discussed. Then one more, making ice creams, jellies. Making ice creams, jellies, that I told you, agar, right? This is obtained from algae. So this is the use of microorganism in food industry. Now, if I talk about commercial, making commercial product. So what are these commercial products? Let us discuss the first one. That is production of alcohol, beer, by the process of fermentation. We have already discussed. Then production of coffee, tobacco also. So these are produced from here. Then we have also studied about its production of lactic acid. Production of lactic acid, citric acid, and acetic acid. So these all are the applications of this, right? Making commercial products. Now for writing third one, I am just going to erase this so that I can write on the other side. Next use is production of medicines. Production of medicines. So now if we talk about production of medicines, we know that in production of medicine there are further two. Which two medicines? Antibiotics and vaccines. Antibiotics and vaccines, right? Then next use is increasing soil fertility. Increasing soil fertility. In increasing soil fertility, we know that we can mention here also rhizobium is the bacteria, right, which helps in increasing soil fertility. Then next we have cleaning the environment. Cleaning the environment. So dear children, these all are the uses of microorganisms, that how they are helpful for us. So we can explain like this. Now, very important, harmful microorganism, right? Because we know that it's friend and foe. So how they are harmful? Harmful microorganisms. Now if we talk about harmful microorganism, so cause, first of all, why they are harmful? If I go there, right, we have to find out the cause. Why we are saying that they are harmful? So what they do? Spoilage of food. They spoil our food and cause diseases in human, plants, animal as well. In humans, plants and animals. In all, they are causing the diseases. Right? Now, if I go further, causes diseases in human. So, disease causing microbes, we call them pathogens. It's pathogens, we call them pathogens. And how they spread? Spread through air, water. We have studied about communicable diseases, right? Air, water, even from food, if we eat spoiled food, and very important is vector, like the housefly, carrier of disease. So they are spreading by this way also. Okay. So next we have, if I want to go further, now I am having this one, spoilage of food. So spoilage of food, can be prevented. We have studied in this chapter that spoilage of food can be prevented. How it can be prevented? By this method, that is food preservation. We can protect our food from being spoiled. So now we are going to discuss the various methods which are used in food preservation, right? So first one, let us start from here, chemical method. in chemical method, you all are clear about what we are using the chemicals, right? Then we have heating. Like I gave you the example during the lecture that we boil the milk to protect it from microorganisms. That is heating. Then we have by reducing moisture content, because moisture they grow very fast. By reducing moisture content. Now how we can remove moisture content? That is the question, right? So in moisture content, if I talk about further methods, first is dehydration. Right? Then addition of salt can be done because salt helps to remove the moisture. Addition of salt. Then I can also add sugar. If you take example of addition of salt, like salting in amla, raw material, tamarind, also salting is done to protect them from this. And then addition of sugar, jams, jelly and squashes, these all are done to protect them. Okay, I am going to erase this. Next method we have prevention by oil and vinegar. We know that if we keep anything in the oil or in vinegar, then it can be kept safe for a longer time. Like in pickles we add the mustard oil, in vinegar we can keep the onions so they will not produce the foul smell, right? Then we have one more process, that is pasteurization, heating the milk to a particular temperature and then just cool it down immediately. Then we can say that it's safe. Then cooling or freezing. If you remember, we are having frozen items in the shops, right, which protect the growth of microbes. Last but not the least, canning or vacuum packing. Like canning is done and things are packed in a vacuum so that nothing can enter. If nothing will enter, then the growth of microorganisms will not be able to take place. Right? A very important part, nitrogen cycle. Right? Nitrogen cycle is the table given in the NCERT book, in which we can see the different types of processes by which nitrogen is balanced in the nature by the plants, animals and the lightning. So that is all in the nitrogen cycle. So this is all about microorganism, chapter 2, mind map. I hope it will be very helpful for the students. Thank you so much, dear children.